This meeting is being recorded.
All right. Her voice sounded different on mine than it did on the one I just heard it through. It's like she has a different personality for each of us. Okay, well, welcome tonight. Let's see. Oh, I want to make sure I have the right presentation up. Yep, I think I do. Okay. All right, we are tonight, we're continuing our YOTA Tuesday, and we're going to talk a little bit, we're going to catch up a little bit. We've got a presentation from an artist in residence. We're going to see if there are any Art Matters grantees on who want to talk about their projects. There's a lot happening tonight. I was just over at the Eureka Park input session with our artist in residence, Robin Mitchell. And she was making buttons and engaging people and what Eureka Park means to them. And there was a great turnout, and that's on a kind of a rainy, gross night. There's so much has been happening lately. Yesterday at the city council meeting, they presented the neighborhood centers model development, kind of the consultant's work. The consultant wasn't able to be there, but economic development presented the report and then followed up with me the next day and said, okay, we're really excited about the role that artists can play in this. And that report is, so at one point I was reading the report, I was like, wow, they really just want to paint everything. They want to make everything art, as far as creating energy in these neighborhood centers as an initial point. So I really feel like the work that we're doing, turn around in a year or so, we'll look back and go, wow, we're really, everybody's getting it. And if everybody gets it, it's because the people on this call are demonstrating in the community what's possible. And last night in the city council conversation, they talked about seeing what's not there and the ability to see what's not there. And they talked about planners being able to see and envision. And I'm like, yeah, planners, sure, but artists too. Artists can really see what's not there. And I know Simone Patterson at the Envision Center, that's really what her Dreaming Big project is about. So we're going to keep dreaming big, envisioning what's not there, and showing the community what's possible. I want to do a few updates now. I mentioned this last week. We've got the Elmwood, or 2 weeks ago, we've got the Elmwood Art Walk call out. And this is where we're looking for at least 8 sculptures to go on the Elmwood Art Walk. We'll probably put one of the sculptures in front of the Raleigh Court Library as well. We've got a pad there, so there's a little flexibility in this. But the show is going to be called Artist at Work. And we're exploring the role of the artist in the community. This is one of our capstone projects for the Year of the Artist. And this call is out now, and the designs, the proposals, the concepts are due on January 27th. And there's no cost to submit a concept. The concept doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be something that's already built. It can be an idea. And then we'll have a pretty quick turnaround time on that. We're planning to have a very quick selection panel process. And then artists would have time, a couple of months to make it real. And we hope artists are working with fabricators locally. We hope that folks are using this as a chance to stretch themselves, build partnerships, and explore the idea of artists at work. Really excited about that. And next week, we've got our winter YOTA social, and that's going to be at Art on First, 300 First Street. And there's a registration online now. We are asking folks to register so we have a sense of how many people are going to be there. I know that there are still bugs out there. We're going to try and be careful as possible. We'll have masks at the door. Folks want to wear a mask when they come in. And I think we're going to have a good time. It's been, and there'll be some loose activities, and Catherine and Pedro and Katie and Samantha and I've been thinking about what this is going to look like. And it is going to be, we'll have a few activities, but it's going to be fun and casual and a space to connect. And I know that I was lamenting to someone the other day that, yeah, we've kind of gone in and out of this pandemic, and we worried some about being together. People were together a little bit more now, and it feels better. These connections, some connections only really happen when you're in space together. So we're looking forward to having that next week. And then over the next 2 Saturdays, we heard from Brian 2 weeks ago, our artist in residence in Southeast Roanoke. And he's got access to a storefront on 9th Street, and he's going to activate the storefront for a few hours on the next 2 Saturdays with a meet, make, talk, take art free workshop. And I'm looking forward to being out there. I'm sure if folks want to swing by there, he's hoping to have some foot traffic in from the neighborhood. He's got some posters out there, and I'm going to swing in there at some point next week and just see what's shaking. And so tonight, let's catch up. I believe almost all of our artists in residence have presented about their projects. Lacey wasn't able to be on last week, so I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to turn it over to Lacey and let her catch us up on her project. And Lacey is the artist in residence in Northwest with the Neighborhoods of Opportunity program.
Thank you, Doug. So I'm not prepared to share my screen today, but I do have lots of updates for you all. And I've been catching every bug that's out there. And so it's just me playing defense against the world, unfortunately. But with all of that being said, I'm working with United Way in Northwest neighborhoods, which is where I live, to create a documentary that films the lives of residents here and talks about, how did Northwest become a neighborhood, its history, what people are doing in it now, what artists are doing in it now, filming some of those creative projects and performances, and then where are we going? What do the residents of Northwest envision their community to look like? And then I'm also filming a little bit of and working with some artists about actually coming up with those renderings. Like, we go by and we film a space and we talk about what it would look like for it to become a community hub or, anything that we can really imagine. So one of a couple of the things that are in the works right now, coming up soon, is a day at Melrose Library, where I'm going to be there all day recording oral histories of the area. Poster to come soon. I was actually sick 2 days ago, so that was supposed to go out this week, but it's coming. And so it'll be a full day where people can sign up for a 30-minute slot, and they can dictate their oral histories to me and my crew, and that way they'll be recorded. And I'll do a few of those throughout the project. The other thing that I'm doing is I am collecting found footage. So if you're a resident or if you have a Northwest experience, you can actually send your footage in. And I'm going to be sending that link out to Doug this week to be on my website, my web page for my artist residency. And you can submit your own footage. And so that footage will also get woven into the documentary. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else. I guess I would just, the Instagram. So I'm also have an Instagram account, and I'm going to show it to you here. It's called Northwest by Northwest. You can see the little icon. Yay. And I believe it's actually, I'm looking at the, Northwest by Northwest. And you can follow this, and this is where little clips of the film and just getting updates about what we're working on. I've actually since started this project. I'm getting really familiar with documentary style films, and have partnered with Tyler Lyon at Grandin Film Labs at the Grandin Theater. And so more exciting partnerships always to come, which is a really great aspect of this residency. So yeah, go follow the Instagram, and I'll be posting more updates soon to my website. And if you have any questions for me, like, I would love to chat with you all and hear your feedback, of course.
Lacey, are you planning on getting any still photos or just photographing people who are going to be sharing their histories, their oral histories in that experience? I think that would be fabulous to have just pictures of that happening.
So actually, I've been photographing people standing in front of their houses, not with their street sign or anything showing, but like, this is a great example. I don't have my screen shown, but this is Brian Hancock in front of his house. And so one of the things that I've also really loved doing is filming inside people's houses. And so many people have like their family trees on the wall, and, you know, or I'm filming in somebody's grandmother's house. And I've been really, yeah, capturing stills and also like spaces that you would may not ever get to experience within this community. It's like a sneak peek.
Nice, good, great.
Oh yeah, Instagram logo. Thank you. It's actually Northwest by Northwest here. Can you see that? This is like, is it backwards? Because I can send it.
No, it's showing up right. NWXNW, is that the?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in the chat. Okay. It's like, we've been doing this for how long? Okay, there we are.
Great. And then any other questions for Lacey?
Yeah, contact.
Yes, we'll put my email in here as well.
And I built little forms in there too. If you ever struggle, you know, if you on the website, there's a little contact form for each of the artists in residence where it'll go in. I think right now I have it designed so it copies me as well, just to make sure that they're going to the right place for the first few times. I don't want somebody entering a form and it not going somewhere. Lacey, what's some of what you're learning about the neighborhood? This is one or two things that you've learned already so far.
One interesting thing that I've learned is that a lot of the residents felt like their childhood, like the community was much more connected in their childhood than it is now. And I'm finding that interesting because I'm like, well, what is it? What's the secret sauce that makes communities feel like woven together? And why do people feel so distant? Is it have anything to do with technology? Or a lot of the feedback that I'm hearing is just like, you know, that there's more community meals and more community events. People were outside more. So anyway, I get curious about that stuff because I'm always thinking of ways to like engage people, and just curious as to why a lot of residents in the neighborhood don't feel like the neighborhood is as connected as it once was. So that's kind of my investigation point right now.
Yeah.
I have a question. Can you just tell me what is that neighborhood? Like, how would I know I'm in Northwest?
Sure. So if you go, it's basically like train tracks. You're like following the train tracks. If you come on this side of, I'm really horrible with geography, so I'm going to look at a map while I tell you this. But if you're going on, so Peters Creek, on this side of Peters Creek, sorry, I'm on Hirschberger right now. So basically they consider it like Melrose all the way down to the highway, right? Like, am I getting this right, Doug? Because I'm so geographically challenged.
So there's kind of a quadrant system in Roanoke, which really maps a lot of neighborhoods. We've got lots of very specific neighborhoods, and it's amazing if you look at some of the mapping systems, even things that are very minute, like Grandin, like it's not minute, but like Grandin Court, or very specific. But then if you look at kind of the quadrant, it masks a lot, and so those are just a quadrant's just 4. So if you've got the railroad tracks or South Jefferson Street, and so South Jefferson Street is the east-west dividing line, and then the railroad tracks are another dividing line. So Northwest includes Melrose and Loudon and a whole lot of different small, Rugby, Melrose Rugby, lots of different smaller neighborhoods, and then stretches outward. And Northwest gets a lot of attention, in our consciousness because of what happened with urban renewal, and it
Exactly.
pushed the African American community north and west into that area. And if you look at you can look at the kind of maps over time.
And that's a great point, Doug, too, because that is one thing I'm finding throughout the research is like a lot of people don't consider, even though Northwest does have really strict boundaries in terms of like the quadrant that it's in. It's like Shenandoah all the way down. When you get to Williamson, it kind of stops and it becomes, but in people's minds, that Gainsborough area is still like Northwest because it all came from that. And so I don't know, it's hard for me to put such like hard boundaries on it because the residents don't necessarily consider it. Like, I'm not in Gainsborough neighborhoods, but a lot of the stuff that I'm filming is about Gainsborough, So anyway, that's a side note, but yes.
Well, but it's not a side note really, because it answers your question regarding why do people not feel like the community is engaged and connected anymore, because urban renewal literally put in highways, wide boulevards, industry to specifically break up neighborhoods and to diminish, African American heritage and livelihood. So that's the hard part that people don't really want to talk about, but it's really what we have to face, especially like working with the neighborhood model team. They can't, they want to compare, well, this is the income in this neighborhood, and this neighborhood, it works because of this, and this neighborhood works because of investment there. But it's, you have to have the social equity knowledge and awareness to work in a neighborhood that's been destroyed. So we're all kind of working through those awkward conversations, but we have to, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We did a great interview with Jordan Bell in his grandmother's house, and that's really an exciting, where he is talking about exactly that history and his family's history and the moving of peoples. And so, yeah, we're getting into it. You're definitely getting into it. So it is a very rich story that we have to tell, for sure.
And I love that image of someone with their family tree behind them. And it is these family stories, these personal stories, these individuals that's what makes all of this meaningful, increases empathy and awareness, understanding, and can make us look at what some people might be thinking, like Polly mentioned, a technical challenge about a neighborhood center where it's an economic market analysis, and it's not that. It can't just be that. All right, Lacey, we're looking forward to the watch parties when it's time.
Thanks, Doug.
Yeah. All right. So I think we've had all of our artists and residents present who've been on. Let's pop now into some Art Matters grants. And we got Josh and Julie on. Do you mind if I pop over to you and you let you describe what you're going to be working on?
Absolutely. Sure. Start?
Sure. We are a recipient of an Art Matters grant. We have a Celtic band here in Roanoke called Kinfolk, And so our project is going to be Celtic music really engages with place and folk stories quite a bit. So our project is to dig into Roanoke and its history and its people and write a series of songs and tunes about Roanoke that can fit into the Celtic folk canon.
We'll have that culminate in a performance that we'll do for the community and try to engage as many folks from the Celtic community and whoever wants to be a part of that project as possible. And who knows, maybe afterwards that might even turn into an album, but we'll see how successful the project is.
The kind of music that we do, it's a very oral tradition. It's stuff that gets played in pubs and in living rooms and things like that. So ideally, some of the stuff that we write might get picked up by people in the region, and hopefully it'll get carried beyond Roanoke so that Roanoke can be known throughout. We play reels about Dublin and Glasgow all the time. Why not? Why shouldn't someone in Dublin play something about Roanoke?
Oh, yeah.
So that's,
I think,
that's the
yeah.
idea.
That's exciting. Now I saw that you put I saw a Facebook post about it, and I saw like your whole community of people were excited. Are some people saying they want to be involved in the project or wanted to know more?
We're still in the writing stage for most of the body of work. We do have people that we have on standby to help us with arrangements and kind of refining the end product. We have a few people who are audio engineers who can help us with, at least set up for the main performance.
We get a recording when we do perform it so that it can last more than just that moment.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So we have some interesting things that we're building up, but we still have a lot. I think we still have a lot to do
Yeah.
left.
Are there any questions for Josh and Julie?
I just want to ask Josh and Julie to tell us where we can hear you play now as we get to know you through this this time period that we're working together.
Yeah, if you want to get to know both us and the Celtic music community in Roanoke at the same time, we all play at Big Lake Brewing Company every Monday from 6 to 9. Yeah, it's honestly how this kind of music exists anywhere in the world. They're called sessions. And so the Celtic musicians in the area will kind of descend on, in this case, a brewery, and we'll play for 3 hours, and we do it every single week. And you can absolutely come and find us there and get to know us there. There's more than just us here in Roanoke too. So
And I imagine there'll be lots of connections and lots of things learned when you're done with this project, and we're looking forward to hearing it. Yeah, and
we're excited about it. We've started. We have a couple of things that we've created thoroughly enough that we are comfortable performing them. They're still kind of being changed as we go, but we started sneaking them into our performances, and we've been getting good feedback on it.
I have an interesting thing that I'm chasing down right now. Lacey talking about her project really reminded me of it. There is maybe most people who have been here a long time are familiar with the Ballyhack Golf Club. One of the guys that we look to as a mentor for Celtic music was born and raised here, and he started talking about how the term Ballyhack was used kind of colloquially as sort of like a negative connotation sort of thing. But there's also like a region around here that's like specifically like the Ballyhack area, like there's a Ballyhack Road. And he actually has a supposition that that it used to be like a larger community, like a town that just sort of got absorbed and forgotten about over time. So part of the reason, right, exactly. And there's not a lot of information out there about it. So we're doing some research into that, seeing how much information we can find out about this legendary Ballyhack region, and see if there's a story or a song there.
And if any of you know anything about it, please, we're all ears.
Yeah. There will certainly be a song. Now it just depends on how deep I can get into it.
Yeah, it seems perfect for a song title. Just the word itself seems perfect. And if there's, okay, go ahead, Julie.
Oh, we've been kind of exulting in the research process. Like that's his current project. My current project is the whistle that used to sound that stopped a couple of years ago. I'm trying to write something surrounding that engages with Roanoke's rail history. So working on that one.
Was it Old Charlie? What was the name of it? What was the name of
Oh,
it?
Gabriel.
Oh,
And Beth
Gabriel. Oh,
Macy
Gabriel.
wrote a wonderful article about it back in the early 2000s that included the exact notes that the whistle hits. So if I can incorporate that into the song somehow, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I was thinking, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh, Beth's gonna be really excited about this project. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, well, great, great. Any other questions for Josh and Julie? All right, and Brittany, are you on? Let's see.
I am here. I'm here with Tave Truth.
I thought you might be.
Yeah, he is here beside me. We do have an open mic tonight and a little bit of a busy schedule, but we really wanted to be present, even just to listen in and to give a brief update because it's been busy. So
Well,
yeah.
have at it. I think you've been out filming, so have at it.
Woo, man, have we? So this has been a huge learning curve for us as creatives, or at least the creative team for Project Don't Blink. And just to add insight to let all participants know, so Project Don't Blink is technically a music film project that we are hoping to turn, or at least to use, to do additional research, focus groups, as well as creating art youth projects throughout the year. And so stage one for us is, of course, filming. And we didn't want this to be a generic music video. We wanted it to be a video that told a story that felt more like a movie or like a film production than it did, just a casual music video, because it's an art piece and we want to challenge the youth of the city to use art, just to see so many elements of art and to respond to that. So when we had our storyboard planning meeting in September, it was all systems go. We felt great, mapped out every single scene, because having Chris Tribble and his directing experience, having Michelle Terstigan and her like costume design experience, and then Lisa Linger, and we had a really great group of people with all types of backgrounds helping to map this out. But this is technically our first go at it. And so it was all really great when it was on the board. And then scheduling and casting, I did not, because that is my role, to send out the doodles and find the mutually convenient dates and secure permissions for buildings. I mean, we really are learning a lot right now in terms of what it takes to make a film production. Like, this really is a production. It's like, oh, we have to find a costume for this role, and like what scenes or what settings are most appropriate for different things. So it really is a step out of the box for everyone involved. But I definitely say that it has been most rewarding on the days that we have been able to film. We have one more filming day coming up. It's likely going to be on one of the last 3 Sundays of December. But it really is seeing the impact being made in real time just because of the youth actors. So the majority of the actors that we have involved are youth. And to hear them ask questions and to see them bonding and to see them like wanting to do more, like that, the enthusiasm is so beautiful to witness. Like, oh, can I help with the camera? Like, can I just stand behind, Chris and just see what he's doing? Or, so when's the next one? Like, when are we doing the next music video? Just the enthusiasm is it's really great. And we can see the brains turning. We can see us, playing our part in creating like the next generation of artists and art enthusiasts. And so we're learning a lot along the way. Lisa Linger, Kaisha Preston, and I will be having a meeting on the 28th of December to get to planning for the focus groups. We've already mapped out the format that we'll be using. And if anyone is familiar with Jubilee's Middle Ground, You can find them on like YouTube, etc. Like that's the format that we're going to be using for the focus groups. And so we're really excited about that because we're our strategy is, of course, to get as many people from each zip code, every demographic, you know, just to come together in a small focus group and discuss things, come up with their own ideas for how we can make change. But, you know, more subtly, it's a way to get the community to use art instead of maybe politics or, you know, I don't know, the news or just our most common means of accessing what the narrative is and where the solutions are. Like, it's going to be really great to see adults in the community having to use a video, a film production as their source of inspiration for coming up with solutions, or at least for fodder for discussions. We're super pumped about that. And that's where we are. Katie, do you want to add anything? You know, yeah, I probably just did.
Well, every aspect of that is intriguing and exciting. And I could see the Roanoke Arts Commission member, Helen Dean, nodding and going, yes, yes, youth, engage the youth.
Yeah.
I don't think I've been in a meeting where she hasn't, you know, advocated that point where we need to have, you know, more meaningful engagement in arts activities and opportunities for young people. And I can just imagine you asking I can picture it, you know, asking a young person, like, how would you frame this shot? And like, oh yeah, you've got a good eye. That's great composition, you know, where somebody like kind of having that first engagement and you know, frankly, being told that yeah, you've got something, can launch somebody. Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely. And I mean, we're all just discovering so many art forms through the production. Of course, like, I mean, I've always known that acting is an art form, but it's not until you have to coach child actors that you realize, oh, wait a minute, like this really is art. Facial expressions and energy and placement and you know, remembering what like a lot of repetition. You could just see a lot of these kids who may do like a little bit of dance here, or they may do a little bit of choir there, like just eager to apply these skills that they have, and they really want to be coached. So I think that we're feeling really optimistic. The people that we've asked to participate, every time that we, like the people who have volunteered to act, or at least just to be standards by, you know, we always have just such a warm session at the end of it all, and they're very optimistic. They're very excited. They're like, how can I help more? Like, do you need me to bring coffee? Like, this is great. I want to see this growing. And so I really like that that people are engaged from all ages, all backgrounds. People want to see how they can help. So they see it as more than just a music video. They see it for the production that we see it as well. And we're pretty pumped.
Great. Well, thank you for taking the time to pop on tonight. And
absolutely.
Yeah, and do keep us posted on, you know, as you start to shape up the dates for sessions, if there are any, you know, public calls or anything, keep us posted so we can include it in the newsletter. And then I'm not sure if you were on when I said earlier that we're kind of doing like a little landing page for each project, just so that we can archive information on the web page on the website. So send me anything that you want to have posted there as well. I'm going to start building those over the holidays.
Absolutely. Oh, that's exciting. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So it'd be like, you know, the web page would be roanokearts.org/don't blink. You know, it'd be pretty easy that way. Well, great. Well, thank you. Any other questions for Deontay and Brittany? All right. Well, we've got some other Arts Matters grantees, and Catherine Schnabel's had a grant to do some projects. I'm gonna have her talk, and Charlie's working on his project is rolling now. Jane's got a project, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that. So we'll start with Catherine. That was my way. Did you see how I did that? I gave everybody a little heads up and gave everybody a little bit of time to think. And now,
Good work.
yeah.
Very smart. Yeah.
We'll start with Catherine.
Okay, well, my Art Matters grant is 3 workshops around encouraging and supporting artists who are doing these amazing creative projects. And so I'm drawing upon experience doing some commission work and then also doing life coaching and creativity. And I'm just really trying to apply those ideas and that experience to what I want to share and what I want to draw out from people who are working on all these projects. So the first one kind of kicked off my theme about expansion in terms of expanding your work as an artist and in the context of what it is you're doing, your project. So the second one I have been rolling around and thinking because I'm focusing on expanding yourself as an artist. And this is chewy, I think, for any of us, because when we are involved in any kind of a personal art project or any, whether it's a small thing for ourselves or a bigger thing, you yourself are also an art project. And so you are also being worked on and being, evolving, and things are changing. And a lot of times things come up that get in our way. We all get in our own way, or we discover new directions that are incredibly exciting. And I want the next workshop to help us focus on expanding our own gifts, or listening to our own roadblocks, or being patient with big empty spaces, and just some encouragement and some thought around us and what we're doing as part of this big project. So that's where I'm at. The third one will be about how we're going to maybe distill everything that we've worked on with our collaborators together in this, all the network connections we made, just distilling that into what we're sharing in our terms of our project and what we want to do with it. And I'm still thinking about that too, but that's number 2 is what I'm working on at the moment. So, and I'd love to hear any thoughts about if there's anything all of us or anyone wants to share about what you would like to see in terms of a workshop about you right now. Maybe that's kind of a pretty obtuse question, but think about it. If anything comes up or if you have something now, I'd love to hear that. So.
And folks don't have to have come to the first workshop to come to the second one, right?
Yes, thank you. Very, very good point. It's just, yeah, exactly.
Although I did go to the first workshop and really enjoyed it and loved hearing the, the people's reflections in the space and then afterwards as well.
Yes, that was really great.
Yeah, it was a really good group of people.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, any questions for Catherine?
I just want to comment that it sounds wonderful. The more that we can integrate and learn from one another's projects and works, because there's so much crossover going on, and I can't keep up with everybody's. And like Brittany, I was too slow to respond to you, but I'm very excited about your film project, and I think I know some youth and folks who would like to get involved, knowing community arts reach and the different families that engage with them over the years.
Excellent. I can't keep up either, Polly. And there's so much crossover. It would be, I don't know how we'd map it, but I imagine there'd be string and lots of string going from project to project, and it would look
exactly.
Like,
yeah. Well, as you can hear in my voice, I get overwhelmed with excitement and love and desire. And because I think we can, with the brilliance of people in one city, in different sectors and different experiences and knowledge, we can come together and do some really beautiful things and really, see where the folks with most difficulties can be heard and understood, and we share our resources. So I also need to do my personal meditation and calming walks in the forest so that, these pieces can more gently come together. And I just want to thank everybody for the work you're doing.
Polly, that's beautifully said. Very beautifully said. Thank you for that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks, Polly. And yeah, we all need to have the walks in the woods, the meditation, whatever fills your cup. so that you can be strong and effective in the world around you and navigate with some grace those kind of rocky patches as well, which happen to me every day. And yeah, and I imagine happened to all of us. Yeah. So Charlie, let's hop over to you and hear about the benediction project, how that's going so far.
Yeah, so the sculpture is now visiting Roanoke, and you can see him at the corner of Salem and First Street at the southwest side of the bridge. And on December 12 at 12 noon, we're going to walk him across the bridge to the northwest side and to spend 20 days there. And that adds up to 40 days, and 40 days is the length of time that places of worship that are participating will have the sculpture at their place, facing out into the community, giving the benediction to them, saying bless you to Roanoke, and also using that 40 days time to meditate on and have discussions and think about their relationship with their community. So I'm in the process of building a list of places that are interested. And I've been surprised to have, I think there's 6 or 7 people have contacted me, pastors or members of places of worship, saying they're interested and they want to know more about it. And so that's real hopeful to me. I've had experiences in other communities where I had to really struggle with getting the word out in any way I could and make the contacts. And this this project now, since September, I've become really disabled with my vision. And so doing the computer work and making those contacts and doing those things, it's just really difficult. And so I'm glad that it's going well at this point. So the first place that it's going to go to is Central Church of the Brethren. And one of the that was happened because I had a meeting with Kevin at Doug's suggestion as here's the pastor to talk to and to kind of refine the project. And so that church is going to have it for the first 40 days. And one of the issues that I have is we set out to say that we were going to include all 4 quadrants. We've been talking about quadrants tonight, and I'm learning about what's where also. But the majority of the people that have contacted me are with places of worship in the Southwest. And so I'm trying to reach out into the other quadrants. So if there's anybody here that knows of a place of worship that they would like to spread the word to about it, my email address that's available on that website that we have, it's the best way to contact me about it. And so I'm really interested in Southeast and Northwest and Northeast to see if we can find some places of worship there. And another thing that's part of the project is to have as many different kinds of places of worship participate. And so far, I have mostly Christian denominations, which is majority, of places of worship, but there's lots of others out there. And I've been trying to make contact with, there's the Buddhist temple I know there's a Jewish temple. I'm trying to make those contacts, but if anybody has, contacts or knows people and can feed me that or feed them the information about the project, that would help me a lot as well. So yeah, I'm happy about the way it's going, and
And Polly put in the chat, Charlie, that she'll send you some contacts as well.
oh, very good.
Yeah, and I think it's when Charlie and I have been kind of going back and forth about this a little bit via email, and I think it's fine, to be really upfront with folks and say, hey, we're trying to get in all parts of the city, and ask the faith leaders themselves. So who are some of your counterparts in other parts of the city
That's right. I've been doing that with these multiple churches in Southwest, saying what we're trying to do is spread out. So, help us if you can.
Because asking them helps, strengthen those ties around the city as well.
Yeah, there's the Bethel AME Church has been in touch with me, and they're in Cave Springs, so that's Roanoke County, right? So we said that we could take one or two from the county, so that's helping the spreading out. That contact. He looks like they're going to be really interested. The process goes with somebody contacts me. It's usually a pastor, or I contact them, and they say they're interested or not. But mostly, they're contacting me because they're interested. And then I ask them to involve their church leadership or their temple leadership and talk to them about the project and get that sense of we really want to do this, and then get back to me, and then I'll build them into the calendar, and we get a 40-day period that works for them and for the project. One
Hey,
last, oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say that there's another Art Matters grantee named Casey Murano,
Right.
and do you know of her and her project?
Yes, we've met, and
Okay.
virtually we've met, but we've had some conversations.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because there's nice overlap there, and especially with your 40 days. Hers weaves in pilgrimage as well, so there's a nice
Right.
synchronicity there.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
glad
And
you know of her.
it's nice to be working on this part of the community from different angles. During this year, I think that's really, really nice. So, somebody contacted me from Salem. Well, are we going to do it over here too? So this is just a fresh thing today happening, but I've been considering, so when the year of the artist is over, what about places that contacted me that wanted to be part of it but couldn't? Could I just carry it on for another year, and maybe including places like Salem, if the project goes well and people want to do it. So.
Yeah, oh yeah, and and a big part of me says, these lines are arbitrary.
Yeah.
And these are connected to those kind of sectors that we were looking at before, the quadrants. And across the country there was a disinvestment in urban areas in the cities. And everybody's heard the term white flight, where wealth and money comes out of the urban areas and goes out into a surrounding, in this case, the county. And here in Roanoke, we've got, in Virginia, we've got this independent city structure where that does not encourage the sharing of resources. So all of these, with all of these issues, yes, we would love to have folks in the county kind of talk about what are the connections between a congregation or a house of worship out in the county and house of worship or a neighborhood in the city. what are the connections that, in between Salem and Roanoke. So yeah, I think there's lots of great opportunity for that, and to take the project and keep exploring. And so I said, and just so everybody knows, I said, yeah, one or two maybe in the county, but it's a city project because we're using city resources to do it. I would also love for the county to put county resources into the project, and for Salem to put Salem, resources into
Right,
the art
exactly.
projects.
Mhm.
And this is another thing that ends up happening. Arts organizations go apply to the county for funding and don't get funding, so the city, we want to support the arts. We want to support, this kind of cultural center. And we'd love to do it as a region and have other jurisdictions, pitching in on it as well. But I'm told time and time again that organizations are going to the county government and not getting resources. I think there's a way that we see how all of these things work for us, no matter where they're located. And there is a real opportunity for regional action, regional support. And we're all going to be better, stronger together. So
Yeah.
it might start with the Benediction Project.
Well, who knows? But anyway, I'm enjoying it, and some of the best parts of it is discovering and finding maybe people or groups that didn't see art as something that they had in common with. And I'm more and more understanding what drove me to do this project way back in the first place. And that was this sense of a disconnect between art and religious groups. And I'm now understanding that what happened in the art world was the organized art world started to get bored, and so what can we do to be more relevant? Well, social practice happens, and now we've got a whole city project that's just built on that. And churches, mainline churches, their problem is their connections with their community, being relevant to what's going on in the world around them. And so art is now in a position to say, we know where you're at, and these are things that we're discovering, and maybe it'd be useful to you. So I like that. I'm enjoying that part.
Mhm. Nice.
Great. Any questions for Charlie? So let's.
I don't have a question, but I just want to say I was actually reading about your project earlier today. My employer sent it out in an email blast.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I work at the Virginia Tech Medical School, so they told us all about it, and
Oh,
it
good
sounds
deal.
really interesting.
Yeah, thanks.
Excellent. And then Jane, you want to catch us up on your project?
Unmute myself. Hey, everybody. Can I share screen? I actually worked on this a little bit, Doug, so
You sure can. Hold on. 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I will have you. You're now a co-host.
okay. And where do I go? Keynote. And I need to open the other file because that's the other thing.
I know when I said, Jane, you want to tell us about your project, I should have specified because I think you have 15.
No, it's not that many. And you're right, they all interweave.
Go, Jane, go. Go, Jane, go.
Stop it. Okay, everybody can see it?
Yep.
Okay, great. So my Art Matters grant is for the Roanoke Singing Tree of Peace, Peace Together. And I'm working with community school with this project. They reached out to me after the press conference we did, like the next day. I think Doug had a hand in hooking that up. And they're like, we want to do a singing tree. So the Singing Tree Project was launched in 1999 when a little girl asked Laurie Marshall, wouldn't it be great if the whole world could make a painting together? And this is one of the international singing trees. So Laurie came up with the Singing Tree Project. This is a way for communities to collaborate, problem solve, and envision all sentient beings living in a just and beloved community of environmental, societal, and economic equity. And the beloved community thing is something that weaves heavily into my work. That's like my talking point, my belief. That's what I'm going for. Since then, 40 Singing Tree murals have been made with 16,000 people in 52 countries. So I've ended up in 3 communities: the community school with the art teacher and the students and the art club. I'm in the Singing Tree Guild, which is the community of the facilitators. We gather once a month and share challenges and successes, and then we draw a bit at the end. And I'm actually taking a one-on-one facilitator training with the creator, Laurie Marshall, and she's amazing. And incidentally, I've talked to her and another project lead on another art project, and they are blown away with what you're doing in Roanoke. Just, I mean, there's dead silence, and they're like, "You're what?"
Yeah. Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, so the kids in the art club are planning the thing mostly. And so I've got some of their drawings here on the left that I'll flip, hopefully, if this works. Maybe. Let me try that. This worked earlier. It really did. There it goes. So this was a lot of fun, pulling their like the little Band-Aid on the planet, because it's damaged, but it's not complete. Healing broken hearts coming together. Little animals. They had the idea of international flags, but then we got into, do we put Russia's flag on there? So we decided that the kids are going to make their own peace flags, and they're going to put those on there. That's crooked. I'm sorry. A lot of them came up with the idea of the word for peace in different languages, but the same thing. Do we put the Russian word for peace? You know, etc. So what we came up with, and this was kind of exciting, was to use indigenous Virginia people's words for peace. And even the art teacher was like, "Are there enough of them?" And I'm like, "Holy cow, you have no idea." So the kids researched this, and they're so excited that there's so many different, all this rich culture that they didn't know existed, you know? So that's one thing that's just been awesome. Okay, this was the day that we started, and we finger painted and we rolled some paint, and this was hilarious. They would get some great constellation galaxy stuff happening and then roll over it with the roller. And then it'd be like, stop, well, no, this is good. You should know. And I said, "Why won't they stop?" to the teacher, who's so patient. She's like a saint. And she says, she said, they can't help themselves.
Well, that's how it is with art, right? You keep going.
Right.
And it's like, oh, what's going to happen next? Oh, what's this going to do?
Yeah, I've had to do a lot of, like, not a lot, but some, like, okay, you're not going to control all of this. You know, you're just not. So this is doing the graph where we could transfer the drawing to the big boards. Some planets they made. The older kids went around the school and traced the hands of the little children. And that's what they're making the little blossoms out of. Isn't that precious? And the kids are thinking of this, you know? One thing I brought in was I'm addicted to the Whole Earth catalog. I don't know if you guys are familiar with those old books. They're like great big. I've bought many of them over the years and used them for collage. But we decided to trace the birds and the butterflies and some of the other elements, and then watercolor them and do them on pages that are pertinent to what it is. You know, like this is farming philosophy. It's kind of cool that the kids are really thinking through these things. Okay. And we started painting last Friday, the real deal. And that's pretty exciting. And this is a happy accident. This was the day Laurie Marshall wanted to meet the kids. This is actually they're zooming with Laurie, the singing tree lady, and with the tree in the background. And she kept referring to the tree as your golden tree of peace, peace together. And so before we parted, I was like, actually, I forgot the brown paint. And we got much painting to do. We hope to get done by the Christmas holiday, but I'm covered up this Friday, and then the following Friday they're covered up. So it's probably going to go into the new year, but not by very much because it's moving along. My takeaways. I sort of found this project online, and I could not get in touch with them because understaffed volunteer organization for the most part. So I just kind of jumped in and filled out our application, and then y'all said yes. So I finally did get a hold of Laurie, and she was so wonderful about it. And she explained to me that this kind of project, because it's part of this greater thing, this greater machine, like they take the pictures and put together videos and put it on the website, and the kids get to see the gallery of all these people from around the world, that they usually get 10 to 15% of the money to sustain the work. I did not know that. She has been really wonderful with me paying a reduced tuition for her facilitator training, and that has worked as a way to get through this one. But I'll know for next time. Also learned that I constantly undervalue my work. I don't put enough money in for the actual hours that I put into things. And that's just a learning thing. I need to pad my time budget. As I explained, we're going to be going into the new year, and things come up, kids get sick, or, another opportunity comes up, or a field trip, and it's just not going to always be what you think. I'm working with very privileged kids, and I know that. What does this look like in other settings? Investment in the training makes me able to work with Laurie internationally, and the kids love the fact that this is an international project. It's really exciting to them. So I think that's it. Yep. So how do I stop sharing? There it is. Stop share. I did it.
Good job.
Yay. Yay.
Thanks, Jane, for that update. Are there questions for Jane?
Jane, which school are you working in?
Community school.
Community school. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah, this is Polly. I'll be calling you again, Jane, for updates and ideas and crossover projects.
That'd be great, Polly. I love working with you.
great. And then, and I love all the leadership around the project that the kids are taking, all the ideas that they're designing this, right?
They are. I mean, they're sewing little beadwork on the flowers. I mean, it's just blowing my mind.
Yeah. Have there been any, ideas around peace and their thoughts that have been illuminating?
I set them on Cook Friday about we're getting to the part where we're going to have to start putting our words of what, where do we see peace? Where do we see we need peace? What does that look like to you? So I'm hoping at our next session, we'll start getting into that more,
It's interesting. You can have conflict among young people working on a peace mural, even, when you get to points of making decisions, but it doesn't sound like you've had any conflict.
No, they've been really good. I mean, they get the most they got hung up on was what kind of tree are we going to do, and it's a dogwood tree, a golden dogwood tree. But there was like, no, tree, no.
Hey, can I say something? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw this out because you're making me think, and I get it, having worked with school systems, you're working with community school, they're letting this be part of their art program. But trying to get into the city schools or trying to do anything through the programming that, since city schools in my experience, is really tricky. But I was wondering, I don't know, and you can help me figure this out, or if it's a good idea or not. But it seems like to me, now that you've done it, you know what you're doing, you got the training, you got the excitement, you want to connect with the less privileged youth, if there's a way we could do that through the Boys and Girls Club.
That's a good point. And I've had some discussion with oh gosh, I can't give her name this minute.
I know you're talking about
Whitney Johnson with the city schools, and there's interest in it, And I recently attended the what was it called, the day before, Roanoke Equity Empowerment Advisory Board meeting, and had a real epiphany about needs at Melrose. And he's got 65 kids that are in there during the week with nothing to do. And Envision Center's right behind there. So I don't know why those connections aren't being made. But I mean, how cool would it be to go hang out in Melrose Library and do something like this?
Yeah.
So yeah, the wheels are turning, and I appreciate any ideas anybody has on it.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Jane. And we're wrapping up here. We've got one more. And Katie, do you mind talking a little bit about what's happening with the circle singing?
Yeah, I'll make it brief. My singing partner, Joy Truskowski, and I received an Arts Matter grant to build on our monthly circles. So Joy and I already lead monthly community singing circles, third Sundays of the month, every month. And so our next one's coming up December 19th. So not this, but next Sunday. We always meet at the Fishburne Mansion. In the winter, we meet from 3:30 to 5 inside. And then in the summer, we switch to later in the evening when it's cooler and we meet outside. But we definitely encourage y'all to come to our monthly circle. Circle singing is improvisational music made up in the moment. And we often start out a little bit more structured with the facilitator giving up parts that we make up. And then we kind of make this impromptu choir together. And then we often do interactive activities as well. And there's space for people to make up their own parts and add to the tapestry of song. So that's our monthly offering. But with our Arts Matter grant, we really look to expand our community and connect to organizations and people in the community that may not have heard about Star City Circle singing and that may be interested. So we've partnered so far. We've done 3 events and we have one coming up on Sunday. So the first one was with, we did one with Uttara Yoga Studio, where we combined circle singing with breath work and yoga movements. Then we also did a little 10-15 minute demo at Local Colors Hispanic Heritage Festival. And the one coming up is with Points of Diversity. We're gonna open up one of their larger events. So we're gonna be leading a 10-minute activity with them, telling them about circle singing. And we just did one with Blue Ridge Literacy. So we worked with English learners, English as a second language learners with Blue Ridge Literacy, and had all levels of their learners together. So about 40 folks, and that was posted on the City of Roanoke's Facebook page if you want to see a little video of what we did. But we're excited to make new connections, and it seems like a really great way to bring people into our community. And we have another one we're going to do after that, and then we'll have a large circle that we're hoping to provide sometime in the spring, and definitely are interested in partnership around that. If there are existing events we could tie into, but we really have a vision of having 60 to 100 people singing together with music made up from our community.
Thank you, Katie. Does anybody have any questions for Katie?
Can
All
I
right.
say something once more? Sorry.
You sure can, Polly.
I have participated in Katie's workshops, and it really is an empowering, courageous, fun, silly, scary, however you come to making music in your body. And as I have experienced it, and it helped me feel more comfortable when I go out and say, hey, y'all want to come and do a singing circle? Because a lot of people aren't familiar, right? And so it's taking me some time to get other people, other groups, to come and participate. And I encourage everybody to try one out so that you too can maybe find better ways of encouraging the power of singing as an art form and therapy, really, because it was good for me.
Yeah,
All right.
Polly stepped into the center of the circle and led an amazing song the other week. It was so awesome. And thank you for all the ways you support the community and share your voice, Polly.
Yay. Well, it's beautiful, beautiful people doing great things in different formats. So yay.
Yeah. And that reminds me, one other piece of our work is we're creating a 5-minute demo video with another artist in the community, Vipin Pocarel, and so that'll be coming out soon, so that it can just be a little demo for folks to be able to see before they come.
Nice, and that might make people feel more comfortable and more willing to come out. Yeah. Yeah, but Polly, thanks for that testimonial. And Polly just talked about good people doing good things in lots of formats, and that's one thing that our friends at the NEA responded to us when they saw we gave them a report of that we've with the NEA resources, we funded 71 artists, which seems a little insane because that's 71 contracts, but 71 artists, and they were really impressed with the breadth of the kinds of projects. And we did small grants, and our idea was to do lots of little things all around the community, and these little things all add up. To Jane's point, yeah, we're all underpaying. We're underpaying artists. We know by the time a $3,000 grant, by the time you put all the time into it, it's not penciling out as well as we want it to. I hope we can grow the grants, as we develop this program. We're getting our feet wet, and we're learning lots of lessons. I do want to follow up on a couple of things in the chat. Jane, Charlie does have a one sheet. It's on the website, roanokearts.org/benediction. You can find his one sheet there if you want to share it with a house of worship. And then Polly mentioned Katie's Wacky and Voices of Faith. And I know Charlie's presented to Voices of Faith as well. So he's gotten the word out that way. But thanks, that's a great recommendation. All right, is there anything else for the good of the order before we close up shop?
You all or anybody is welcome to join me walking benediction across the railroad tracks over the bridge. So I'm looking forward to it.
So 12 at 12.
He's on a hand cart, and the bridge is a hill, so I might need some help pushing him over.
I am intending to be down there on December 12th, 12/12 at 12 o'clock to help push benediction over the hill.
All right.
And then we'll see folks next week on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock at Art on First for our winter social, and we'll look forward to being in that space together. All right. Well, thank you all for being on tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed this.
Doug, I did want to chip in just to add a little something, because hearing what everyone else is working on got me really excited. I know Tay is really excited. He's on stage right now. But we just kept commenting like, whoa. So we are cheering for all of you 100%. But a little tidbit that I forgot to add, the creating art projects for my fellow artists, is really just working with a lot of the youth, especially in Northwest, and trying to connect them to other artists to help create, to help them create their own art projects or to become artist apprentices. We don't know, like everybody could use an extra hand. But we're trying to facilitate some sort of mentorship program. And so if your project is open to more kids, or if you're an artist who is open to collaborating with some youth between 13 and 17, we would definitely love to work with you.
Hi, Brittany. We need to connect.
Yes, we definitely do.
We will talk because I need help, and that would be great. Yeah, I'm looking for that. So thank you.
And
perfect.
And is that a kind of formal funded program? Are you paying the young people to do the work, or how's that working?
No, this is completely voluntary. One of the things that we have heard a lot from the parents around here is that they feel very limited in terms of what options the youth have to do extracurricularly, or in terms of just career options, knowing what they could do. The girls, if it's not cheerleading or dance, for the boys, it's usually just sports. And so if they're not in, so if their parents aren't already really well connected, or they're not a part of a niche group, there really is no outlet for self-expression. And so when just seeing that evidenced on set, when we did a casting call for students just to come out to the school, I mean, overnight, once the word got out there, they were like, oh my gosh, yes, please, on a Sunday morning, And so obviously youth want to get out here. They want to be a part of something. They want to be a part of something artistically. When it has to do with like small business, et cetera, we don't get that same kind of engagement. So that day in October, when we saw how many kids responded just to come out and have a little dance session in the middle of Lucy Addison on a Sunday morning, we're like, okay, yeah, there's a need for this. Let's see how we can provide for this need. Let's get these connected to artists of all kinds.
Great. And your email address, someone asked for it to be put in the chat. You want me to type that in, or are you able to do that?
Yeah, I have no problem typing it in.
Okay. You're better than I am. And that's a fantastic strategy. I'm really eager to watch and hear how that goes. And if you need any resources, I think the entire community is saying, yeah, how do we make sure kids have access to opportunities? We don't know what we're interested in until somebody shows us that it's a possibility. We don't even know it's a possibility. So thank you for that. Excellent. And the email is in the chat. All right. And thank you, everybody, for taking the time to be on here tonight. We'll look forward to seeing you on Tuesday.
Yay. Yay. Good. Thank you, Doug.
Keep doing good work.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.